This week's show brought to you by Moses Incorporated, complete outdoor power equipment solutions. Welcome everybody to the Lady Cardinals News Graphic Coaches Show, Basketball Coaches Show, February 1st weekend edition that gets us down toward the end of the season here. Only about 2 weeks left of the regular season. You'll hear Coach Helton's comments down the road here in the show. Lots got to happen between now and then to get you ready for the playoffs. It's an interesting schedule because right now the Lady Cards are in a sequence that's not very challenging. They'll have a couple of tough games the final week, and then it will be back to some teams that they'll probably handle pretty easily in the district and region playoffs before they hopefully get to Rupp Arena for the state tournament. So it's going to be an interesting stretch where the Lady Cards have got to keep kind of focused on the task at hand, and that was a struggle on Tuesday night as they went to Frederick Douglass. Contrasting styles. If you remember the last game we talked about on the last show, they went to Clay County and won a very slow-paced game, 57-47. Clay County kind of held the ball and waited patiently to take three-pointers. Douglass wanted to run, and Coach Helton, of course, cautioned the team about that. Early in the game, big lead early, 31-16 in the first quarter, but I think everybody, coach, players alike for the Lady Cards, felt like it could have been a lot more, left a lot of points on the table. Not really happy with the first quarter, first half effort even. They stretched it out a little bit in the third period and rolled on with a running clock to a 90-46 victory. I got to give a call to Douglas Destiny Jackson. She had 28 points that night. Not really a lot else going for the Lady Broncos, who gave up 101 last time they played Scott County. Pretty determined not to let that happen. Once the running clock started, it ran even on free throws. But a balanced attack got it done for the Lady Cards. Morgan DeFore, 20 points in only about 14 minutes. Some good rebounding inside from Malaya Williams and Kennedy Tompkins. Not all the shots were falling early in the paint, but that seemed to remedy itself throughout the game. Malia Owens, Juliet Smith kind of fueled the defense with steals and got things going, and that game was lights out from that point. 23-1 now on the season. It's kind of chopped up the schedule a little bit. The cold weather caused Fayette County schools to cancel on Thursday, and that meant all activities are wiped out. So the game that was originally scheduled to be against Bryant Station this week now gets pushed back to next Wednesday night. So kind of a back-to-back, which under normal circumstances would be tough, but if you look at it on paper, Scott County is home against Sayre on Tuesday night. That's not going to be a challenging game at all. There's really no happy face to put on that. And then they'll go to Bryant Station, another game where they should be heavily favored on Wednesday. That, assuming they win those two, they'll be 7-0. That'll be 3 consecutive undefeated regular seasons in the 42nd District. Top seed for the playoffs coming up. The number 2 seed will more than likely be Henry Clay, and Scott County has handled the Devils with ease twice. So things won't be too challenging in the playoffs, at least the first rounds. In between those two segments, you have some tough games. Campbell County, Oldham County, and South Laurel. That one at South Laurel, against South Laurel at home next Friday night, February 8th, part of a doubleheader News Graphic live stream games. The boys will be home that night as well against Clay County. But that South Laurel game, that's a top 20 opponent, and that's one you want to circle on your calendar because it's probably the last major test the Lady Cards are going to have against a team that's of a caliber they could face down the road at the state level during this regular season. So we'll keep our eye open for that and look forward to that. As right now, 23-1 and rolling are the Lady Cards. Coach Helton, we talked to him after the Douglass game, and probably that wasn't the best time to hit Coach Helton, as he was not really pleased, despite the score. I know he'll be the first one to say, hey, I complain a lot in these one-sided games, but his nature as a coach is he's got to find some things to pick at and make sure this team gets things down to perfection or as close as they can going into the playoffs. He was not also happy with later on, after we were off camera a couple of days later, finding out the Bryant Station game was canceled. Really wanted to get that one played. So some complications to his life. Want to give a shout out, happy birthday shout out to Coach Helton as well. His birthday was on Thursday this week. Let's see what Coach had to say. Coach Helton was not enthused by the Lady Cards' effort at Frederick Douglass.
We had no focus from warm-ups to the last one. We had no focus, and no matter what, You know, we went through our same routine. We went through the scouting report, and we come out and you know, we finally started keeping track of missed shots in the paint, second, third, and fourth.
Scott County moved to 5-0 in the 42nd District with 2 games remaining.
Yes, it was a district win, but the way we played tonight, it was a lot of bad habits, a lot of lack of effort plays, 50-50 balls that we should have had and we didn't have because we knew we could get away with it.
The schedule gets tougher down the stretch with the playoffs looming.
We've got one more district game. We should lock up the district. We got one game next week in which I'm not for sure how we're going to play that game with Sayre on Tuesday. And then, then it's, South Laurel coming to town on Friday, which, 2 top 20 teams. And so we've got to get to work. We've got to get it done in practice. Because then you're life on the road to Oldham County and you finish up with Campbell County. I mean, we're 5 games away. This season is 5 games away from going postseason where you're 1 game, you're loser leave town. So very important for us to stop. I shouldn't have to motivate them right now. They should be able to go in there. They should be able to go in there, and they should know their job at hand, and they should be able to take care of business at hand. I should not be their motivator. I should not be the man that's pushing them to make the plays. And right now, I think that's where I'm most disappointed right now because we're not. This is the end of January. They need to step up. They need to start making plays. We can tweak some stuff. We can work on some stuff, but you just can't come out and do this and keep and think, man, when we play top 20, we're gonna be all right. You ain't gonna turn that switch on. I mean, we didn't shoot the ball tonight, we didn't rebound the ball tonight, and we didn't finish. Destiny drew 10 fouls on us. We had 13 team fouls, and 1 player drew 10. That's not good. And we were trying to double her. We were trying to do some things, but we're. I'm glad we're not peaked out. But, man, we got some work to do.
All right, that was Coach Helton, and he's trying to get things geared up, and he's still, I think, trying to find the right buttons to push with his team. He said early in the season that was a mystery. I think it sometimes still is. He's only got 2 seniors, and he's really wanting to rely on them, Malia Owens and Juliet Smith, for leadership. And he doesn't want to be the one to have to kind of point fingers and give orders at this point. He kind of would like to delegate that to his players. One of his big sayings is, coach-led teams don't have a long shelf life, and he's really a believer in that with this group. So we'll see how the older players step up as we come down the stretch. We did talk to a couple of the more experienced players on the roster, the 2 juniors, Morgan DeFore and Malaya Williams. Of course, Morgan was the leading scorer the other night, and Malaya has really been coming into her own, averaging a double-double and doing great things with her size and her versatility. She's also a deceptively good shooter with her tall frame. Let's see what Morgan and Malaya had to say. Scott County had to deal with contrasting styles in its games at Clay County and Frederick Douglass.
We're used to running fast, so we should be able to finish anyways, but it is hard to transition, but that's still not an excuse to not finish.
Yeah, it's just like games like that were more like fast paced, and then like games like this is like a lot slower, but we go their tempo instead of our own. So.
Both Morgan and Malaya agree on the team's most important point of emphasis going forward.
We need to defend better, get our rotations better, and do all that.
I think it's team defense. I feel like we're like more wide on our defense, and we don't really talk a lot, but we're working on it.
So it's just communication. The players know they left many points on the table against Frederick Douglass.
Well, the key was to finish, and we definitely could have been up there way on them early if we just finished, but we just had to come out and play hard at the second half.